Ever since I read Arrival Most Vile, I've been meaning to get through R.K. Ashwick's debut novel as well, and apart from a few lines in chapter 39, I was not disappointed. Hello, I'm Remelia, and welcome to my channel. Here we talk about adventures, mostly in the form of books, both reading and writing them. The Stray Spirit is a cozy fantasy novel, as well as the debut novel for indie author R.K. Ashwick. I did talk about her recent book in this video, and I also mentioned that I wanted to read her debut as well. And The Stray Spirit felt almost tailored to me specifically. We follow Emery, who is a struggling bard from a boat family, and while rowing isn't my preferred boat to travel, I am much more of a sailor kind of person. It did speak to some of my core memories from my childhood, and I don't think the bard part of Emery is surprising. I spent a huge chunk of my life studying music in different ways. Hell, all of my student loans are kind of music related. It also doesn't help that Emery is terrified of being a disappointment to his family, a fear I absolutely can relate to. We also have the titular character Aspen, who is a stray spirit and somehow ends up possessing Emery's loot. And Aspen is one of the cutest and sweetest characters I've seen or read, or they're really kind-hearted and maybe a bit naive, but I strongly believe that if everyone was just a little bit like Aspen, the world would be a better place. Like, a much better place. Our third major character is Cal, Emery's smart and very supportive ex-girlfriend. Despite from the dynamic of Emery and Cal having to work together, she also brings the logical brain to this group, and like these three characters really complement each other. It's really clear that these are the three people needed for them to succeed with their mission. Everyone brings something to the table that the others couldn't have done without them. Would one of them be missing it? Yeah. With the forgotten spirits, the no longer believed legends, and the very strange occurrences, this setting really lives up to the cozy fantasy feeling I've come to expect from Ashwick's books now. And while I didn't devour this book as quickly as I did Arrival Most Vile, it didn't take long for me to get through it, and it's a solid 5-star read for me. The plot is a bit more high-staked in The Stray Spirit compared to Arrival Most Vile, but it still manages to feel like a blanket and hot cocoa on a rainy day or a snowy day to fit the current season. Something else I've kind of come to expect from Ashwick's books is beautiful illustrations, and The Stray Spirit did not disappoint in that regard either. Her books really are some of the most visually appealing books I have on my physical shelf, and I don't only talk about the covers, but the interior as well. This book also has music in it, very fitting, at least lyrics, and I cannot explain how much I love that. Both music and books are two things I love very dearly, and to have them combined is just mwah. I know some people don't like lyrics in books, but I absolutely love them.
When the gods begin to fight through ground, river, trees and light, dance your way through Hara's shield, follow her voice, she will not yield. Shiro who shakes and steals our souls, or a Veer who turns our trees to coal. She will not yield, she will defeat these gods, though this war will repeat. So dance your way to Hara's shield, through cold and dark she will not yield. Dance your way through Hara's shield, follow her voice, she will not yield.
The stray spirit manages to keep me giggling and kicking my feet and oohing and crying and slightly anger me and smiling, and apart from that slight anger, it really lived up to the cozy fantasy I've come to know and love from Ashwick's books. It's also the first in a series, with the sequel coming out in March this year, so I'm very excited for that. Hopefully it will have more songs that I can play around with, because I really enjoyed putting music to this one. Okay, but I feel like I need to address the situation in chapter 39, because there was a slight bit of anger. It's not even something that most people would even think about or remember. But if you haven't noticed, I have a very obsessive love for bats. They're my favorite animal, and I can get a bit too emotional about them sometimes, which is what happened here. All the veins in its wings flashed white, and it flew as hard as it could until it dove and perished among the stalagmites below. This isn't an overly brutal description. It's only a few sentences. This was just one sentence, and it doesn't have like a very big impact on the plot and the story, but it's a great description, and in the context I could see it vividly, which is my problem. I could vividly see the object of my unhealthy affection die before my eyes, and I got emotional. I even closed the book for a while, in the middle of a chapter. I only remember being this angered by a book once before, and that was the book series that got me back into writing. But as much as it angered me, it will not stop me from picking up the next book in the series, and it will not stop me from loving this book. It was one small scene, and it made me feel a lot. And to me, that's one of the qualifiers for a great book, if it makes me feel way too much. Thank you so much for watching, have a great adventure, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!
As you way through Hera's shield, follow